How you doing, folks? Today I'm going to be showing you how to build a sim truck shifting knob to add to your immersion if you do sim trucking. All this is based off of AM Studios version of it, which I'll have a link in the description for you to check out. I'm going to be doing mine a little bit differently, and you'll see what I mean as we go along. What you'll need is a electronic shift knob that you can find on AliExpress. You can find it on eBay and even Amazon. Prices will range from $15 to $30. You can buy one of these things already pre-made. That'll cost you about $60 to $70. But if you want it from the same locations, if you want to build it yourself, you're going to see how here. Next is we're going to be using this USB controller. It's known as a zero delay USB controller. Now, one thing I want to cover real quickly about this, I've seen some other projects where people are doing this and they're saying, "Oh, well, I followed this person, and they said to you tie these particular colored wires together, and it didn't work. The buttons were always on." The reason why is because probably every one of these kits, the cables that come with it, in this case, mine came with these, but I'm going to be using this cable here that was already pre-made for me. The reason why that is because of the row of pins that are known as the common ground versus the positive, the inputs. And if you put two inputs together, then they're going to show up as a button press. So how can you tell which one the common ground is? Well, by looking at this board, I can tell because of where these pins, these bottom row of pins, these outside row of pins, are going to be the negative. Here's why. When we flip the board over, you can see these little trace lines right here. These are known as, well, tracers. As you'll notice, these lines, and even some over here, will come back to these inner pins here, whereas these outside pins here are all tied together. So these are all common ground pins here, and these are your positives. So some of these kits will be put together. In this particular case, the way this connector is made, it was wired together. If I put it in here like this, the white wire is going to be my common ground. You might have a kit where the blue wire is your common ground. In this case, with these cables, the red wire is a common ground. And a lot of other times, when you look at electronic kits and or other things in electronics, a lot of times you'll see that the red is the positive and the black is the negative. That just depends on how it's wired up. In this case, the way these were built, and in the way that this was built, um, it just so happens that the red is going to be negative and the black is going to be positive. It is possible to buy a JST, which is what these connections are called, uh, uh, buy a JST kit that you can use, that you can make your own cables. So you can have your colored cables be purple and gold if that's the kind of colored wires you have. Right now, we're just going to be using these. And I'm going to be using 3 of these on here. I'm going to put them in the first 3 slots. I'm also going to be putting that into this little project box here. Now, I already have, yes, this is really ugly. I did not do a very good job on this. And this is, and I have another port over here for this cable to come out. And this port here is for this cable. This is a USB female. As you can see, it has 2 screw holes to screw it down with. Then it's going to have this USB cable. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking and cutting off probably right about here on this cable. This is going to be wired to these cables. So these are going to be wired together, and then these are going to go into here. And then this USB cable here, the rest of this USB cable is actually going to be wired up to this controller. And the reason for this is because In AM Studios version of it, he had this pretty much with these type of wires. He had this directly wired to the shift knob. And I want to be able, and in my case, I don't want to have this thing just flopping around, or in this case, put inside this box and hanging around on my wheel stand. I'm going to be mounting this up underneath my desk, and then I can use this is going to be kind of a quick connect, if you will, to go between the shift knob and here. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to have is you're going to have to open this up just using a little flathead screwdriver. Opens up quite easily, just wedge it in there, and that comes out. We're going to put that off to the side. And you have this wire loom with your colored wires and your connections. Now up here is the engine brake, or at least that's what I'm going to be using it for. And as you can see, there's 3 pins. So on this particular switch, and it's probably actually the same true for the others, but they're not wired up with 3 connections. This has a normally open and a normally closed, and of course a common ground. So which one is which? Well, let's get out our multimeter here. And I'm going to have it set to continuity. And what this does is when I bridge these two together, you hear the connection. So I'm going to take a wild stab and put that one there. Nothing. And as you can see, the black makes a noise. I can also confirm this by holding it to the blue and then pressing the button, and it makes a noise. So the black one I can do away with. I am not going to be using that black wire at all. Now with the USB cable, I should also mention this. With the USB cable, you only have 4 pins. And this obviously is going to have 6. So how are we going to get those 4 pins on the 6? Well, because this is not going to be actually connected to a USB port, once I get this cut open, I'm going to pick a pin, a colored wire to be the common ground. Here, I need to pick 3 wires to be the common ground. Now, as it so happens, right there, you can see even better there that the green and yellow are already tied together. So for them, those are the common ground. I think what I'm going to do is, I mean, it really doesn't matter what you use. You're just opening and closing a circuit here. I think just for continuity, since on my board and with these cables, the red is going to be the common ground, I'm going to add the red here to the yellow and green. So those are all going to be tied together as common grounds, leaving the white, the purple, and the blue for my positives. Now you'll also notice that there is a little resistor down in there, and in AM Studios video he cut that out. I don't really see the reason why, but okay, we'll cut it out. Not a big deal. Just following his lead. There we go. Let's see here. So next we're going to, I'm not going to use that for anything, so we'll just cut that all off. And I'm going to, losing my wires. Now I have another version of this project I'm going to be doing later once I get things sorted out here, where this wire loom won't be necessary, but for right now we're going to use it. Um, I mean, yeah, for right now I'm just going to keep it and use it for right now. And then all these are all different links. I don't like that. Get out of the way. And that other project, the other idea I have for this, wow, those do not want to play nice. We'll just go with this. Still getting used to these cutters, these strippers. Okay, perfect. So we don't need the black, so we'll fold that out of the way. Wow, what the hell happened there? Well, that ain't good. No, I'm doing it live, so guess that's just going to annoy the crap out of me. Let's do this again. Must have caught that on something. And means I'm going to have to cut this back some more. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully without stripping anything this time. What is going on? This thing is really biting into these cables. Let me try that again. If this doesn't work, and that's not even going to play nice. I'm going to solder these wires together, but I'm going to take the blue, the yellow, and the red, as I said before. Take the blue, yellow, and red, and we're going to put these together. See if I can just twist them up like that. That looks like that's working. Good. And for safety's sake, forget. Oh, joy. That's not going to go on that side. That's fine. That is fine. I can still make that work. Let's go ahead and tin up these other wires. Nice and, you know what, I'm going to redo my ground group again. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So now we're going to take our USB cable. And I think that should be a good spot right about there. Actually, let's go a little bit further down in case I screw this up, because I don't get a whole lot of chances with this. Let's get the big boy out again. Get out of there. Yeah, screw it. And move that out of the way. Let's see what we got inside here. Okay. So we have all these. Just in case that's a ground instead of a... Nope, that's just a shield. Okay, so we don't need that. Insulator out of the way. Okay. So, I think what I'm going to do is, again, because I'm going to be tying all the reds together anyway, we're going to use the red here as the negative. And I just realized I don't have enough room for the heat shrink. I can make it shorter. That's not a problem. And that means all the other colors will just go to whatever is available. I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter which one goes to what. Because again, we're just bridging connections, that's all. And as long as I don't plug this into an actual USB port, I'll be fine. Because there's no telling what could happen if you bridge the wrong things together. It's looking good. All right, and just for grins, we're going to put red on red. And yeah, I'm definitely going to have to cut that about in half. All right. Still don't have a whole lot of room. That's fine. This end should have plenty of room. We're having some helping hands would definitely come in handy, but I don't have any. So we'll improvise in a different way. And there we go. So let's take another color here. Use this black one here for another. Cut it in half. In case you're wondering, this is heat shrink tubing. I'm putting on here. And we'll do the black and blue together. good. Just get an idea how well that's going to be covering things up. And obviously we'll do the white together. There we go. Looking good. And last piece I got here is green. You don't have to use different colors of heat shrink tubing. I'm just doing it for fun. And because I have them. Okay. All right. So before I put the soldering iron away, we're going to go ahead and do the other end of this. So again, we get the strippers out. This way I can also use these pieces of tubing. Okay, that's all. The only reason I'm twisting this up before I cut it just makes it a little bit easier. I don't have a bunch of little bitty wires all over the place. And whoa, that stupid thing. All right. Those teeth right there are a little too sharp. I gotta figure out what to do about that. And these ends, I don't think are. No, I think they are. Okay. So for my reds, we're gonna get all those together. probably should just restrip those and do them again, but we're going to go, whoop. Almost forgot about you. And yeah, you came loose. Trying to remember to do this on camera. Nice little tug. It's not the greatest, is it? Tell you what. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and those are in there good. There we go. That's better. All right. Just put the heat shrink on each one ahead of time. Enough. That is not. I am not a professional, folks. In case you haven't noticed. Some fresh solder on there. I'm going to go ahead and throw some fresh solder on this one before we get into it. And somebody else has come loose. weird. If I wasn't doing this for a video, I wouldn't be so nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous now. Come on. There we go. There we go. Okay. I'm going to cut away for a moment and shrink these up. Okay. Got my little mini heat gun here. Okay. Soldering iron finally heated up. I'm going to try this again. Got a new piece of tubing on. Let's see how well this goes. All right. So we get that part. And if I had thought about it, I probably would have put a bigger piece of tubing over this, but yeah, we're not going to worry about that. I'll maybe just get some electrical tape, wrap it around there. It'll be fine. Okay, so because we know this green tubing isn't going to work, and apparently that connection didn't work either. Apparently I didn't solder that too well together. Let's take another crack at grabbing another piece. And putting it on here. Better, let's shrink her down. See if we can just do all these at the same time. Probably not a grand idea, but what the hell, right? And there we go. All right, be right back. Okay, so now we're just gonna get the loom here back into there. That's buttoned up now. We're going to get the project box. Now this project box comes with a weatherproof strip. We're not going to need that. Whoop, forgot one more thing I need to do. Okay, I'm going to put this in first. This screw. It's going to give me a hard time, of course. Go. Okay. Just kind of cram those in there, any old place. And yeah, I screwed up. I did not check where this was going to go in relation to this. Otherwise, I would have moved that up a little bit further. So don't do what I did. So what we're going to do here, and this is just a temporary thing anyway. We're going to plug these in. These really do not matter which one is doing what. And plug in our USB cable. And then we're just going to cram it in there like that. And then we cram this on down. It may not be the right orientation. Go. Let's try that. And once we get those screws installed, this will close up a lot better. Be right back when this is all screwed down. And there we go. It's all screwed up, screwed down into there. And we take our USB cable, slides in just easily. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I now have the shift knob attached to my TH80 shifter. The thread size on the shift knob is a 12.5 to 13 millimeter, whereas the shift rod itself is a 9. But more importantly is that this universal adapter, its top threads are 12 millimeter. This universal adapter is nice in that it has rubber boots that will go over your shift rod for the different sizes. For many different sizes, there is one for this. And I only have one set screw in because that's all I really need. But otherwise, it does have 6. There's 3 sides that have 2 each. So it's entirely up to you how many you want to use. You can use them all, use one. And it does make it very easy to just loosen up the set screw, and I can pull the whole thing off. Now, another thing, as you can see on the left side of the screen, is how the controller shows up in your game controls control panel. Shows up as a generic USB joystick. And you have all their buttons and hat switches and whatnot. What I find interesting, this was completely by luck. Y'all saw me cram those wires on there because it doesn't matter. In the long run, it doesn't matter. But it did work out the way I actually would prefer it. So the range shows up as button 1. The split shows up as button 2. And the Jake engine brake shows up as button 3. So that's just how it happens to work out. All right, I hope this has helped you out in wanting to do this, even if I did fudge it up quite a bit there at certain points, but hopefully you got enough of an idea of how actually quite easy it is to do. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.